Hey guys, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Matthew Lepre. I'm here with John Assaraf. So John was actually one of my first mindset mentors. He's one of the leading mindset and behavioral experts in the world. He's been featured on the biggest channels out there. So with Ellen DeGeneres, Larry King, Anderson Cooper. He's written multiple New York Times bestsellers. John's also been featured in 10 movies. One of my favorite movies, The Secret. If you haven't watched it, you definitely have to see that. It's incredible. And there's another movie with Richard Branson and Dalai Lama called The Quest for Success. So if you haven't watched these movies, definitely recommend that you watch them. And today, John's actually the owner of NeuroGym. And the goal of NeuroGym is to help people strengthen their mindset so they can obviously reach their goals a lot faster than ever before and a lot easier as well. So yeah, welcome to the show, John.
Hey, great to be on with you, Matthew.
Yeah, John, just basically the most important thing that I talk about is if you want to be successful in life, in anything, you usually have to develop the right mindset and obviously the right knowledge and the right skills. So a lot of people don't really talk about mindset. It's all about, okay, what do I have to learn to do? And I'll do that. And they think they're going to get success. But the most important thing is mindset. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about your story, John, and how you really got into studying the actual mindset?
Sure. It's great to be here. You know, my story goes back a long way. I'm 59 now. And when I was 19, I was getting into enormous amounts of trouble with the law. I left high school in grade 11. I didn't think I was smart enough. I certainly didn't think I was good enough or deserving enough other than sports. I failed English, I failed math, I failed numerous other classes, and I just didn't do well in school. And I thought because of that, I really wouldn't amount to much in life. And so I did a lot of illegal things as a teen and got in trouble with police on a weekly basis. And my brother, who was concerned for my well-being, asked me if I would be willing to meet a gentleman who was a very successful individual in real estate, who was considered, a very, very sharp individual back in Toronto, Canada. And so I agreed to meet my brother and this man for lunch. And I took the train about 500 kilometers to get there. And at lunch, he started asking me, questions around why did I think I was doing all the things that I was doing and getting into trouble with the law, doing things that could have gotten me killed or other people killed. And I just looked at him like a dumb shit. And I go, I don't know. I just want to, make some money. I want to, don't have a really good job of making $1.65 an hour. And so I'm doing, this other stuff to make some money so I could fit in and get some decent clothes and, pay for some stuff, that my parents couldn't afford. And he said, well, have you ever considered that you're just not using your mind the right way, that you're focusing it on all the reasons why you can't, and you're using school as your excuse, and you're using, all of your stories about your past, and that's controlling your thinking. It's controlling your behaviors right now. And I had never thought about it. But he asked me, the next series of questions around, like, what is it that I wanted to achieve in my life? And you've got to remember, I was 19. I had no idea. All I wanted to do was get laid, go to bars, have fun, meet girls, party with my friends. That's the extent of how I was like, what are we doing next weekend to party? So he actually did something that I found was strange back then. He gave me this document, and it was a goal-setting guide for 1980, okay? Just to put it in perspective, right? So most of the people that are watching right now, they weren't even alive, but I was 19. And when I looked at this document, he said, please fill out this document, sit at the table and fill it out. And it asked, the first question was, at what age do you want to retire? I'm 19, I'm going to retire. I'm just fucking getting started.
Yeah, exactly.
How much net worth do you want to have? And I go, what's net worth? How much income do you want to make? I don't know, 50 grand? My dad makes 25 grand, which is true. He was a cab driver. I want to make 50 grand. I thought I was like stretching it by saying I want to make $50,000. To make a long story short, I spent about 15, 20 minutes filling out like 10 pages of how I wanted to travel. What kind of car did I want? Did I want to travel first class or business class or economy? It asked me a whole bunch of questions And I filled it all out and I gave it to him and he looked at it. And he said, well, these are some pretty good goals. And I wrote down that I wanted to retire at age 45, 26 years later with $3 million. And I thought that was like, I would have won the lottery if that was true. Yeah. I wanted to drive a Mercedes-Benz and live in a nice house and retire my parents and travel the world. I wrote all this stuff down. And he looked at it, he says, you have some pretty good vision and goals for your life. And he goes, well, I just made them up when I was sitting there. And then he asked me this one question. That one question, one answer changed my whole life. And he looked at all of this stuff and he leaned into me and he said, son, are you interested in achieving these things that you wrote down on a piece of paper, or are you committed to achieving them? And I was dumbfounded. I was like, what? Interested or committed? So I asked him, I said, Mr. Brown, what's the difference? And he said, if you're interested, you'll do what's easy and convenient. If you're interested, you'll allow your old stories and excuses about school and how you did poorly in school and how, you're making money illegally because you just want to take care of yourself. And you'll come up with all of the reasons why you can't achieve these goals. You'll do what's convenient. He says, but if you're committed, you'll change your mindset. You'll change your self-image of yourself. You'll change your beliefs about what's possible. You'll change your habits. You'll upgrade your knowledge and skills so that you become the man that can achieve those goals. And then he went on to say, because every one of those goals is achievable. And then he leaned in again and said, so are you interested or are you committed? And Matthew, to be 100% honest with you, I had no idea whether I was interested or committed, because I just made up that shit 10 minutes earlier.
On the spot.
And I just said, I'm committed. And then he reached out his hand and he said, in that case, I will be your mentor. Wow. And I was like excited. And then I asked him, what's a mentor? I had no idea. And he says, a mentor is somebody who teaches you everything that they've learned so that it makes it easier for you to achieve the goals that you have. A mentor will teach you what to do and what not to do and why. A mentor will point you in the right direction and give you counsel. A mentor will teach you the things you need to hear versus the things you want to hear. A mentor will lead you to becoming your very best. And he went on to share with me what a mentor does. I was like, wow, this is exciting. Sounds like a father. Now, my father was never very successful. I mean, he was a good dad. He worked as a cab driver. He made enough money to put food on the table and clothes on our bodies and a roof overhead, which is great. No problems with that. But he didn't know how to achieve more.
Yeah.
And so here is this gentleman who was a multimillionaire telling me he's going to mentor me. I'm like, wow, this is great. So he said to me, he says, great. Since you've accepted, then I need you to move from Montreal to Toronto. And, it's 500 kilometers. I didn't know anybody in Toronto other than this man that I just met and my brother. And I started coming up with stories and excuses why I couldn't. Yeah. I don't know anybody here. I don't have a job here. I don't have an apartment. I don't have a car. I just started the stories and the excuses. And he stopped me. He says, stop. You're already showing me that you're just interested. I just asked you if you're interested. Are you committed? And you're giving me stories and excuses. And so I said, but all these reasons are true. He said, stop. Here's your first lesson. The how to achieve anything, how you will achieve it, always comes after you make the commitment to do it.
Wow.
So I said, how? I said, well, okay, but I don't have any money. I don't have a job. He says, stop, you didn't hear me. He says, how you will achieve it comes after you make the commitment to achieve it. So finally I said, fine, I'll move to Toronto. And then he says, great, the next thing I need you to do is I need you to enroll in the real estate course that starts on May the 5th, 1980. I will enroll in a real estate course. You mean like me going back to school? He goes, yeah, you need to get your real estate license so that I can help you learn what I know. I said, I failed math. I failed English. You want to put me in real estate school? Don't I have to know legal stuff and finance stuff? I'm terrible. He said, stop. Here you are giving me stories and excuses already. You're letting your past now control your present and your future. I said, I know, but it's true. Fact. Failed math, failed English, in the same year, voted most likely to fail in life by the kids on my basketball team. I'm giving you facts. He goes, listen, sometimes facts are disguised, okay, in opportunity. He said, are you going to sign up for the real estate course or not? I said, Mr. Brown, I have $60 in my checking account. I can't afford a real estate class. He goes, well, son, it's only $500. I said, $500, that's $440 more than I have. He says, there you go again, telling me your present circumstances, and you're forgetting everything I'm already teaching you. He says, you make the commitment, make the decision, then you'll find the money. Anyway, long story short, Matthew, I told him, fine, I'll do it. And I was angry. And when I went back home to Montreal, my mother lent me a little bit of money. My father lent me a little bit of money. My brother lent me a little bit of money. My sister lent me a little bit of money. I scraped together the $500 that I needed. I took the train back to Toronto. On May the 5th, 1980, I got into real estate. On June 20th, I passed the real estate test on my own. Nice. And I became a licensed real estate agent. Now, you may wonder, why do I remember these dates so well? And I remember these dates so well because I cheated to get out of high school in grade 11. I cheated on the final test. One of my friends gave me the answers to the final test. In the class where we did the test, he rolled up a piece of paper with the answers on it, gave it to me. It was multiple choice, and I made it out of high school. And this was the first test I had passed on my own without cheating in years. So it was the first time that I could remember in my teen years where I actually felt proud of myself. And then I passed my real estate test, and then I followed what my mentor taught me about developing my mindset. And he called it developing the mindset of a millionaire. And he proceeded to show me how to do that. And in my first year, I made a total for me of $31,000, which means on a 50-50 split, he also made $31,000. And then in my second year working for him, I was 20 years old, I made $151,000, 5 times more. This is 39, 40 years ago. So over the last 40 years, I have been studying what happened to me, what did I do, what was going on in my brain, and that's really what I've been doing for the last 40 years, is understanding the mechanics of what happens in here, because we know we're born with so much potential, but very few people know how to take that potential and actually create the reality of that potential.
Exactly. Wow, John, that was such an incredible story. Thanks so much for sharing that.
Welcome.
I think what most people that I feel are in a situation where they might be working a 9-to-5, John, or they might be going through university or just graduated, and they reach a point where they realize that this isn't everything that it was made out to be, and they realize they're unhappy. So they're at a stage where they know they want something different in life. What would you give advice to these people?
Sure. So a lot of people, follow this path that other people tell them this is the path you should follow. Go to school, get a degree, get a secure job, because you need money in order to be secure. And the truth is, no, you don't. You need self-esteem, self-worth, and you need the right knowledge and skills for what you love in order to be secure. And so a lot of people just go down the path like our parents went down or our grandparents went down, because there was a time, where if you got a job working for a company or the mines or an industry, then those industries or companies were booming. And so you had security because somebody was taking care of all of the responsibilities. You came to work, you got a paycheck. That stopped working for a lot of people when we've had, recessions, when we've had businesses go bankrupt, when we've had, pandemics, when we've had a lot of things going on. People all of a sudden said, I am not only not happy, but I'm really not secure. So what happens is when people start to believe that their security is out there, they stop relying on the genius within them. They stop following their heart and their gut, and they allow social conditioning or parent conditioning or friends, control what they think and what they do. And the truth is, everybody has a $1 trillion biocomputer, their brain, that when they realize how powerful they really are, that they can set their vision for the life that they want to have. They can set their goals. They can upgrade their skills so that they know what to do. They can achieve a dream life. They can achieve, happiness and health and wealth and the feeling like their life has so much purpose and meaning. But in the absence of believing that that's possible for them, they're dealing with a framework, a paradigm of limiting beliefs. Those are beliefs that limit you. And the question I always ask my students, where did you get these limiting beliefs? You weren't born with them, right? So you weren't born with limiting beliefs. We live, on this planet where there's more than enough money, there's more than enough solutions. The how to achieve anything we already know, so it's not like you can't find out what you need to do. And so if all of the how already exists, doesn't it make sense that you just need to figure out what you want? You find out the how, but then you work on the inner game so you actually take inspired action, right? So I learned how to use my brain just a little bit better than some other people.
And the thing is as well, John, a lot of people say, oh, you have to have self-belief, believe in yourself, but usually it's easier said than done, obviously. So is there any advice or strategies or tools that you recommend someone out there that is maybe having trouble believing in themselves?
Well, there's four things, that come into play. There's four key components around, let's say, success, money, so that people can earn enough to live their life. So number one, we just talked about, it's beliefs, right? But let's ask a question like, what is a belief? Where are they? Are there different types of beliefs? And the answer is, well, we know they're in our brain. We know that there are two types of beliefs. There's like the beliefs that we would like to have, and then there's the beliefs that have been ingrained into our subconscious mind through either our parents, our teachers, our experiences. We start to believe certain things about ourselves and about what's possible. And so what we do know from all the research is that beliefs will drive your behavior, or beliefs will actually stop your behavior. So if you believe, for example, I'm too young, I'm too Asian or too Caucasian or too Maori or too Indian or too black or too white, if you believe that because of those things you're limited, then your behavior has to match the belief. But the beliefs that you and I have right now, for the most part, are because of somebody else's belief system. Somebody else that we grew up with, maybe our parents, maybe our siblings, maybe our aunts or uncles or our grandparents. And so when we were young and we were developing our beliefs and we didn't really know that we can say yes to a belief or no, that we could reject it or accept it, then we just start to believe things. And then the beliefs that we heard and experienced in our environment became fixed in our subconscious mind. And so if you have a goal or a vision that you want to achieve income or a lifestyle, but you have these, I'm going to call them secret or hidden beliefs that you're not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy, too young, too old, etc., you won't take action, not because you don't want to, but it's because the part of your brain that's responsible for taking action won't allow you to. So when we talk about beliefs, if you think about, isn't a belief nothing more than a neural network or a pattern in the brain that's been reinforced? If a belief is nothing more than neurons, brain cells connecting, and then those cells that connect and reinforce become a pattern, and the pattern that's reinforced becomes a habitual way of believing, then wouldn't it make sense to reverse engineer? Is it possible for me to dislocate or deactivate a belief pattern in my brain and create a new one? Is it possible? And the answer for some people is I don't know, because they haven't studied their brain. But the answer that we now know unequivocally through the neuroscience research is that our brain is consistently making new connections. The connections that get reinforced are the ones that become dominant. The connections that don't get used much become disassociated, basically, okay? So they atrophy. And so what if you could take, let's say, a belief? I am more than smart enough and good enough to achieve every one of my life's goals and dreams. What if you take something that's a lie that you don't even believe right now? And what if every day you put that on your mirror and you said it while you were brushing your teeth? You brushed and primed your brain. And then what if you did that again at night? And what if for a moment while you're brushing your teeth, okay, you actually closed your eyes and you felt, I'm more than good and smart enough to achieve every one of my goals and dreams? Is it possible that we could, like a Hollywood actor or actress who is learning a brand new script and just repeating it, reading it, pretending that they are that script, is it not possible that if a Hollywood actor or a Bollywood actor can remember a script through repetition and through practice, couldn't we take a language pattern, let's say a word or a declaration or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, and use the exact same process to embed that into our brain? And if we did that often enough, through whether it's through guided hypnotherapy or visualizations or affirmations or a variety of different means, if we used some technologies and evidence-based, science-proven methods, could we then start to believe something that maybe we didn't believe 30 days ago? And the answer is, of course we can. And so we know that. So that's one of the things back, when I was 19 years old, every day I would read my goals. I would look at them. I would review them. I would run my fingers across them. I'd close my eyes and I'd pretend that the lifestyle that I had written on that paper, on those papers, that they were becoming real and more real. Even though, for the first probably 100 days, I heard this little voice in my head when I would read my goals and look at my goals, a little voice in my head would say, that's bullshit. You're not making that amount of money. You're not driving that car. You don't have that house. You're not wearing those fancy leather shoes and Italian clothes. You don't have, that trip booked. But I kept reinforcing it until my subconscious mind acquiesced. And then it started helping me make that a reality. And then I started earning more money. And then I started giving some money away. I started to invest. I started to make more money. And all of a sudden, I got my first car, got my first house, started traveling around the world. I started doing stuff that were resonant with what I wrote on a piece of paper that was bullshit and not true just a year earlier. So there are methodologies that we now know that are far better than what I did 40 years ago. And I mean, that's why I started my company, NeuroGym, myneurogym.com, was to be able to find the best ways to condition and train the most powerful biocomputer in the whole universe, and that's our own brain. So beliefs, if they're nothing more than patterns in our brain, and I could write out a belief, or I could take a belief that I want and imprint it onto my conscious, then subconscious brain, and then I start to think and feel and behave in ways with those new beliefs once it's impregnated in there. That's the beginning part of developing a millionaire mindset. And there's 3 more parts that we can talk about when you're ready.
Wow, John, that's just so incredible. We're not fixed as humans, that's just the best thing about life. Imagine we're given these cards and they're like, okay, you can only be this smart, you can be this physically fit. Like that would suck, But the fact that we're actually given these tools and a life where we can actually focus on any goal we want and actually achieve it, it's so powerful. And again, John, it's like training a muscle. You have to continuously think about these things in your mind and to build those neural patterns. For anyone out there that thinks these things are like, it's just some spirituality stuff and I shouldn't try it, you definitely have to give it a go.
It's the keys to the kingdom, right? And what's interesting, Matthew, is if you go back 20 years, 25 years, forget about when I started doing this. Scientists did believe that we were hardwired and that we were going to be just like our father or just like our mother or our grandpa. They thought we were hardwired, and that one of the greatest discoveries in the last 100 years is something called neuroplasticity. And neuroplasticity just means that our brain is like moldable, and we can actually create new patterns deliberately, and we can get old patterns to not be used as much. And that's just a skill that you have to learn how to use.
Wow. I love this. I love just talking about this stuff. So
Right.
John, we spoke about beliefs, obviously something limiting beliefs, or can be something that stops people from achieving their goals. Is there anything else, such as fears or any other stuff, can stop people?
Sure. There's 3 or 4 more things that really make up the package when we're talking about mindset. So let me ask the question. I'm going to ask 2 questions, and then I'll make a point. Let's say you know somebody who's a millionaire or a multimillionaire. And let's say, they lose all their money for whatever reason. What are the chances that this person who's been a millionaire for, let's say, 10 years, 20 years, will make their money back? What are the chances of that?
I would say if they've learned the skills and the strategies and they have the beliefs, then why can't it be done again? Those patterns have been formed in the brain.
Right. So over 90% of millionaires, will get all their money back in a shorter period of time because they developed the beliefs, but they also have a self-image of a millionaire. So they can't see themselves in any other way. Their image of themselves is as a millionaire. So they have to get back up to what has been conditioned and programmed in their mind. Now, let's take the opposite approach. What happens to 90% of lottery winners?
Oh, yeah. From what I've heard, I haven't met a lottery winner. From what I've heard, they usually just blow it all, even if it's 200 million.
You got it. So the statistic is actually 87% of lottery winners who win 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, they get rid of all the money within 3 years. Why? Because their self-image can't fathom all of these cars and houses and trips and money. They don't know how to deal with it, so they get rid of it as fast as possible. So whenever we are focusing on developing a millionaire mindset, what happens to a lot of people if they don't do this is they work really hard to succeed, $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, $500,000, $1 million, whatever the case might be. And then they self-sabotage and they don't understand why. And they make more and they sabotage, and they make more and they sabotage, and they make more and they sabotage. And the reason is this: our brain does a few things really, really well. One of those things is this: it makes 100% certain that our world of results, the external world of results, match our hidden self-image. So if we are making all of this money and we're living this lifestyle that doesn't match our hidden self-image, we will sabotage with drugs, with alcohol, with stupid investments, with stupid expenditures. We won't save, we won't invest, we won't build the wealth. We will build it and tear it down, and make more and tear it down, and make more and get rid of it. That's in some parts skill, but for the most part, even when you have the skill, if there's a mismatch between the success you're achieving or the success that you want and your hidden self-image, and there's a mismatch, you will sabotage your success. So in addition to having the beliefs, you have to work on the self-image to match the income you want to make, the lifestyle you want to make, so that when you get there, you don't sabotage your success. You actually get there, you keep it, and you keep going. So self-image is how I see myself. Self-esteem, self-worth has to be recalibrated to match the success that we want. So it's not enough to say, I want this kind of a lifestyle, I want this car and these girls and this wife and this kids and this amount of money and this business. And it's great to have that goal and that dream, and that's another part of our brain that chooses that stuff. But if we create these vision and goals and there's a mismatch against our current self-image, we might reach some of these goals, but we will fight our way to get rid of it as quickly as possible.
Wow, it's crazy. It's like humans are predictable. But basically, John, so what's the difference? Like, let's just say you do affirmations every single day. You read them in the present tense. Let's just say you visualize your perfect future all the time. So that's obviously going to improve your self-belief.
Yes.
And from improving your self-belief, how do you then improve your self-image?
Yeah. So you can still use visualization and affirmations and mental content. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can use, but there's another part to this. And one of the ways that you actually build your self-image is you prove to yourself that you can actually take action to completion. So if you start off with, okay, I'm going to learn this and I'm going to apply it. I'm going to learn that, then apply it, and learn this and apply it. So now I'm going to be in the game. And the other part of learning and applying is whenever we are going to apply something new, you mentioned something earlier that we have to be aware of, and it's what I call is the Frankenstein brain, which I have up here. So the part of our brain that chooses the goals is the Einstein part of the brain and can imagine all that stuff. But Frankenstein's brain always is saying, but what if you fail? What if you are embarrassed or ashamed or ridiculed or judged? What if you lose money? What if you waste your time? What if you disappoint yourself? So while Einstein is saying, do this, try this, do that, Frankenstein brain is going, well, what if? Now, Frankenstein is there to actually protect you, and Einstein is there to help you move forward. So you have to learn not just the knowledge and the skill, you have to learn how to manage your emotions as you're going through change. Because when we're going through change, we automatically activate the fear center in our brain. And in the absence of understanding emotions, there's 6 core emotions, of which fear is one of them, that cause us to either fight it, freeze, or run away from a situation. We may have the knowledge and skills, but we don't take action. So we have to understand how to manage emotions as well. And that's just a skill that you learn.
Yeah, I guess it's being conscious, John, when you are being fearful of something.
Yeah.
Trying to reverse that with different actions, obviously.
Yeah. Give me just 1 second.
Yeah.
I just need to turn it's a little warm here in San Diego, so I'm just going to turn my air conditioning on.
Oh, yeah, no worries. Definitely can't complain about the warm weather.
No.
Yeah, John. So look, let's just say somebody is in a situation, they have no money. Their parents came from no money. Their goal is just to make a lot of wealth in life and just really break that pattern. So like, what would you say that the first things are that they should do?
So everything that I teach starts off with a vision. So take a little bit of time, sit down and dare to dream. Now, when you sit down, you dare to dream. I don't want you to sit down and go, okay, because I'm this age or because of this education and because I don't have any money in the bank, because I don't have any skills, here's what my dream should be. Take all that stuff, throw out the window, and ask yourself this question. If I could have any life that I really chose, what would that be like, let's say 5 years from now or 3 years from now? Write it down as if you couldn't fail, and write it down. Say, I like to teach all of my students to write that says, I'm so happy and grateful for the fact that I am now earning blank. My lifestyle is so amazing. I'm doing blank with blank. I'm driving this. I'm flying here. I'm giving this amount of my time and money to charity. Write out a story so that if anybody read it, they go, wow, what a great lifestyle that is. So you create the vision first. And then you say, okay, let's say that vision's 5 years from now or 3. It doesn't matter. You say, okay, where would you like to be a year from now? Write that down. Then you say, well, where would you like to be 6 months from now on your way to that year? Then where would you like to be 90 days from now? Where would you like to be 30 days from now? Where would you like to be a week from now? How do we just get you started? What book do you need to read? What course can you take? What skill can you start learning on the internet for free, right? Or for a small amount of money? Who can help you? So if you go all the way out to the big vision and then some of the bigger goals, but then you come right back to today and say, what can I do today just to do this? One step towards that, then one more step, and then one more step, right? A lot of people forget that every big vision, every big goal, every big building, every big bridge, everything starts off with a vision first, and then we come up with the action steps to get there. But most people are looking at their current circumstances, and their circumstances are controlling their thinking, forgetting that they have this Einstein part of their brain that can help them figure things out. And it's the most powerful tool in the universe, but they're using their Frankenstein brain, the old and familiar familiar and limiting part of their brain to control their thinking. So imagine, a car, right? You have a gas on the car and the brakes on a car. You need both. And you also need both the Einstein part of the brain and the Frankenstein part of the brain. But when you are using your imagination, imagine. Like, that's what it's for. It's for you to dream, for you to get excited, for you to activate, that inspiration and maybe even a little bit of fear of uncertainty. And here's something I want to ask everybody. Pay close attention. The how-to. For example, get in really good shape and stay in shape. Do we know how to do that now? The how to start a successful business and grow it. Do we know how to do that now? The how to be in a great relationship and be happy. Do we know how to do that now? How to be a great parent. How to be a chef, all of the how-to, we already know. Unless you are trying to think about how do you colonize Mars, all of the how-to that you want is already available. So it doesn't matter that you don't know how to. You have to choose what you want and then figure out who's already done it or who's doing it that you can model and copy, because you can get it in a book, you can get it in a course, you can get it through coaching, through mentoring, through event. There's so many different ways to get the how. So your problem is not that you don't know how. Your problem is you haven't made a commitment to a vision that you're willing to do whatever it takes for.
Wow, like there's honestly no excuses, John. Like if you're not successful, it's because you either haven't got the right mindset or the right mentors and the right people to model. So figure out first out of those two what you need, and then just keep digging deeper. And the crazy thing is we need clarity in life, because it's all about reverse engineering what we want. Once we find out what we want in life, then we'll start noticing all the things that actually match up to that end goal. So that's so powerful, John. And look, thank you so much for that, John. I'm sure that was so valuable for everyone. And look, if people want to learn a little bit more and really get a full comprehensive way to do this and really improve their life and their mindset, do you want to talk a bit more about the program that you do offer?
Sure. I actually just came up. A lot of my programs, you may know, like, $1,000, $3,000, $5,000, $7,000. And a lot of my, a lot of clients said, do you have anything that's, gets people started in a really, really good way around getting the mindset of a millionaire? And so I actually just finished a program called 7 Days to a Millionaire Mindset. And it's a video training program with videos each day for 7 days. And then you do a workbook and apply what's in the workbook. And I guide people on everything they need to develop the right beliefs, the right self-image, the right money story that they need to have in their brain, the right habits, and how to take all of that and get it into the subconscious part of their brain, which is the power center. And so I have this new program that when people buy it, they get it for life. It's online or on their mobile phone or iPad. We normally sell that for $497. And earlier I shared with you that I'll do something special for your group, and we could do it for the first 25 people that sign up, and you can give them a link that I gave you earlier. I'll take $300 off of the price of the program. So the price of the program will be $197 US dollars. Plus, I also have a group of students, about 250 of them, that paid me $1,000 each to teach them some stuff about making more money. And I did some training for them specifically on this program for 2 90-minute or 2-hour sessions. And the value of that's $1,500 for those 2 extra sessions. I'll give it to anybody that buys this program right now. The first 25 people, I'll just include it. So you're gonna get like $1,600, $1,700 worth of training for $197, and it'll transform your mind and your brain so you have the right beliefs, the right self-image, the right tools for developing powerful habits, and all encompassing in a money story that formulates all of your thoughts and ideas and perspectives around money. And so this is hot off the press. You guys will get a great deal on it, and you have a link for people to get started.
Yeah, exactly. And look, guys, I've spent like hundreds of thousands of dollars on programs out there. I've had over 50 plus mentors, and when we're talking about mindset and making your mindset right to become a millionaire, there's no one better than John. I'll put my whole name behind John. And look, if you guys get the program and you don't even think it's valuable, I'm happy to even pay you the money for it. That's how valuable I think this program is. And I know, guys, like, the thing is, you can't get the program and expect your life to change. You have to do the work and follow the training. So if you follow the trainings, do the workbooks, and you aren't even satisfied, send me a personal email. I'll even jump on the phone with you and give you extra help if you actually do need that.
You're a gem, but you know what I will also do for everybody in your group? I'll give them a 60 days full money back guarantee so that you don't even have to worry about it.
That's it.
Not a week, not a month, 60 days. Get it, apply it, use it, notice the changes in you. And if 60 days from now it's not outstanding, we'll just give you your money back. I want to help people, and whether somebody buys my program or not, my lifestyle is not going to change. But I know that the program will change your lifestyle. So if you want to have more, financial freedom and more happiness and more choice freedom and more emotional freedom, get the program, invest in yourself, apply. It's taken me 40 years to learn, and it's $197, less than a night out for dinner.
Exactly. And yeah, these are all the same strategies that I use. So it not only has worked on John, not only has worked on all these thousands of students, but I follow all these strategies that John teaches. So without a doubt, it's going to be so valuable. And yeah, thanks so much for that, John. Like, I really appreciate all the help and all the advice that you're giving everyone on my podcast. So really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Matthew. I appreciate you and how you show up in the world. I'm so proud of you for doing so well. And even more than you doing well, I'm so proud that you're now paying it forward and helping other people, because that's like another whole layer of wow, right?
That's it, John. You reach a point where you've got enough money in life to, obviously, I don't have to look at how much I'll buy food for, and all the bare essentials are taken care of. And then from there, it's all about purpose and giving back. And thanks so much. You shared that with me, and that was so helpful. So for everyone watching right now, click below this video. The link's going to be there. So that's $197, the discount right there for the next 25 people. So usually that price is $1,500. Thanks so much for that generous discount, John. And everybody, thank you so much for watching.